What's going on, growers? It's James Prigioni coming to you live from Jersey. We're about a month into fall and the gardens are still kicking out lots of food. So today, me and Tuck want to take you along with us, show you how the gardens are growing and grab a harvest along the way. Let's go! Let's jump right into it by grabbing some fresh melons from the back corner of the garden here. And I love this time of year because we're able to get some of the late harvests from the summer stuff like the melons here, but we're also getting some of the fall harvests. So it's cool to be able to get like both things. It's just a lot of fun. So it's an awesome time of year. Let's grab some of these melons right here. And this is the sugar cube melon. So when it comes to growing something like your muskmelons, your cantaloupes, a good indication of when they're ripe is you start to get some of that yellow color, but you also get that smell. So you could just like smell how ripe these things actually are. And when they're ideally to the amount of ripeness, you should be able to just pick the melon up, and it should just separate from the stem. So like this, we'll try this one here. And you see how the stem just completely fell off. So that's a good indication of ripeness. Let's cut into this baby, see how juicy it is, and maybe even get a little taste. See if the big Tuck wants a taste too. All right, so let's cut into this baby. Yeah, boy. Oh, look at that color already. This thing is looking like an absolute winner. This is supposed to be an incredible flavored one too. Let's cut in. Let's just see. We already had the Charente and that was so good, but let's see how the sugar cube looks. Bang! Oh my gosh, look at the juice. I really need to taste this one. This one looks like the ideal ripeness. Let me cut into it. And then just slice a little off carefully. Here comes the moment of truth. Just want to bite right into it. I mean, this is why we garden. You can't even hear me bite because it's like warm butter. It's the texture, but the flavor is, I mean, like pure sugar. It's so sweet. And the amount of juice, just incredible. But I don't want to stick with this too long. We got more stuff to grab. I can take this other cantaloupe, but I'm looking at it, I'm thinking it's about 3 or 4 days away. I'm gonna sit on that and wait a little bit. As we shift to the left a little bit though, you'll notice we also have some watermelons that are just on the cusp of being ready. This is the fantasy watermelon right here. This is a great watermelon to grow for people in the north. A good indication of your watermelons as opposed to your cantaloupes, because they won't really be indicated by ripeness based on the smell, is you could flip your watermelon over and the ground spot should have like a nice dark golden color to it. If it's still pale like this one is, then you're gonna wanna wait on it a little bit. So we've got the cantaloupes. We'll grab the other one another day, but let's keep moving because there's just an incredible amount of stuff to show. Now, I want to bring you over to something that you'll definitely be surprised about that I'm growing in New Jersey. This right here is an orange, and it's not your typical orange. This is called the Trifoliate Orange. Come around the back a little bit, you'll be able to see the color of them. And this is when they're ripe, when they've got this like yellow color here. And again, it's not like your typical citrus. Notice this thing has like thorns and stuff too. But I think it's a pretty cool plant. I'm gonna harvest one from here. And the only issue with these is I think it's really cool and awesome that you can grow oranges. That's why I did it, especially in New Jersey, is they're not super functional and useful. I mean, I was reading online and you could cut them open and make some juices with them, like kind of like a lemonade kind of juice, or also like a orange marmalade, but all the recipes I saw called for so much sugar because this fruit is not only sour, but it's also said to be a bit bitter too. So not super useful and functional, although pretty cool. And I had a good indication that it was gonna be like this. That's why I tucked this in like the back of my garden, and it's not taking up too much space. So if you don't have a huge area, I do not suggest growing this. Although it's fun to grow, it's definitely not ideal if you don't have a huge amount of space and you want something for really useful production. Let's keep moving along though and grab some actual food that is delicious to eat, fresh right off the plants, which is like my favorite stuff. Like these tomatoes in this pallet bed has just been kicking them out like crazy. I'm gonna grab maybe 1 or 2 fresh ones here because there's a lot. Then we've got the pink bumblebees too. We'll grab some of the pink bumblebees. Here's the sweet treats and then the pink bumblebees right here. These ones are just such a beautiful tomato. And I want to come in here and grab these, even though I've been doing it for weeks or even months, just to give you that idea of that's how long we've been harvesting. You can do it and you can harvest for long periods of time if you just follow the right system. Next we've got a pepper right here. And I'm gonna grab one of these. I forgot my little pruner, so I'm just gonna crack it off, but it's really good to prune your peppers. That's the ideal way to do it. So beautiful little Jimmy Nardello right there, getting an extra production. Then we'll move over to this tomato right here. Still producing, still looking great. This one is a lemon boy, and I don't want to just tear these tomatoes off, so I'm just going to grab the pruner, then I'll come back to you and cut these off. So let's cut these babies off. Beautiful looking lemon boys, late producer. And we've got one right here that's not even attached anymore. I think it just kind of fell and caught itself. Pretty cool. And then I've got some beautiful peppers ready too, but before I get to that, I want to show you this giant tomato. Look at it, it still hasn't stopped producing. I literally have to go all the way to tippy toes to get it. But I've had some different ideas with what I did with really tall steak tomatoes to make them shorter and bring them down. I have that in the other garden. I'll show you in just a little bit. It's like a new little technique I tried out. But let me grab some of these Gilboa orange peppers. And it looks like Tuck already found his way into our bowl while we turned around and stole a pepper. Not only is this guy the boss, he's also, you know, way smarter than us. So he's always outwitting us. Every time I turn around, he's sneaking something, but he's hilarious. We'll let him snack on that and grab some of these big peppers. We'll let him take the Jimmy Nardello, but we've got some monsters over here. Look at this thing. Here's the Golden California Wonder, I believe this one is. Look at the size of some of these beauties. Ooh, look at that thing. Excellent block. Oh man, that's just gorgeous. I almost want to bite into it, but I'm gonna save this baby because this thing's going inside. What do you think, Tuck? I love the color, it's so striking. And some of our Criolla de Cocinas already are right behind it. So let's check out the Criollas right back here. Look at this. This thing's got like 3 or 4 ready. Let's just grab one here, I guess, for now. Beautiful, and then we've got some more of the apple sweet peppers. And in the other garden, I've got a bunch of peppers ready. I'm gonna grab some more of those. But I wanna take you over, oh, looks like he stole another one. This guy's hilarious. The ones that he does snack on and eat, after he's done with them, I just take them inside and, you know, cut them open and eat them myself. Just wash them off a little bit. He doesn't ruin them. And we love to see him have fun because when he has fun, we also have more fun out here. Let me bring you to the persimmon tree though. It's right over here. One thing I want to talk about as I move through this section is the idea of adding, you know, flowers to your garden and letting them spread. So right here we've got the echinaceas. I love these echinacea. I let them go to seed, and then I take these little flower heads like this, because this is all the seed right here, and then I'll just go around and spread it throughout the garden. This will allow echinacea to come up. And I've got this new, you know, way of looking at things and understanding, I think, where it's like, there's certain plants like flowers that I think are so beneficial to the garden, and even though they don't produce a harvest themselves, in regards to food necessarily, I think they increase your harvest because there's certain plants like flowers that they encourage you to come outside more. So when you come out into the garden more, you know, you'll notice something that you might have missed had you not been out there. So you can fix it and adjust it and change it. So I think plants that bring you outside into the garden overall increase the production of everything else in the garden. So I think it's pretty fun to not only see the flowers, but to be out here and just, you know, get all the benefits from them. But check out this persimmon tree, dude. I made a mistake this year. Like I've talked about before, too much fruit. I didn't thin enough. This thing's getting insane heavy. There's a million persimmons on it. And although this year's harvest is gonna be crazy, I mean, we've still got time because these things have to orange up a lot. So this is gonna be a massive persimmon harvest, but I'm worried that next year it might take the year off because of how big of a crop this is. So just look at this spot right here. Look how many persimmons are up there. I mean, this is crazy. This is our fruit that brings us latest into the season. So we're gonna be eating these things in like, you know, mid-late November we're talking, so we're definitely extending our harvest. I gotta bring you into the new food forest though, because we got so much more to show. Let's start things off by grabbing one of these apples right here. And this is the Belmac apple. These things are just so incredibly good. I'm just gonna cut it off and look at the color and stuff. I mean, I've showed these apples already and I've eaten them a number of times. It's just awesome to be able to be getting apples and fresh fruit, you know, this late into the season. So we've got some more stuff in here I wanna show and grab, and I'll you know, indicate some of the things that I'm starting in here or that are growing that should do well in fall. Like we've got some cabbage doing real well back here, some Melissa Savoy. We've got some lettuces, some bronze mignonette lettuce doing well back there. We've got some broccoli, some kales, so all different kinds of things. But I still have a lot of peppers and stuff to harvest. Like I mentioned, we're getting both harvests at the same time. Look in here, look how many peppers are ripe in here. And it's funny because if you look underneath, this is one of Tuck's berry holes. You can see the hole there. So that's okay, the peppers have still produced. They haven't slowed down too much, but we've got the Cubanelle semi-sweet in here. And then we've also got the apple sweet. So we'll just grab a few. I mean, there's a bunch more in there, but you know, just look. It's so funny, you can barely even see it hidden in there, but there's a lot of food. You gotta have the eye for it. And then we've got some eggplants and stuff back here. Beautiful eggplants. and more tomatoes, and let me grab this eggplant too. Then as we move over here, we've got some more stuff. Grab some of these little peppers under here. Looking fantastic. And then we've got this nice head of lettuce right here. I'm gonna actually save that one. I'll grab it a different day. But our dazzling blue kale looks fantastic too. I still have a bunch of tomatoes that are hanging and ready to grab, so I'll grab a few of those tomatoes right here. And then this time of the year is, I think, ideal for starting to set up next year's garden. So I'm also in the process of, doing some investments at this time that will pay off dividends not only next year but also in the future. So let's grab this tomato right here, another one here, and then I've got some more behind me. Let me grab this nice big orange one. And then we'll save that one. Looks like Tuck's looking for more snacks. Found another pepper. He's just going to be littering peppers throughout the whole garden. This guy's actually hilarious. And then as you look along here, you'll notice I've got a bunch more peppers. I mean, a bunch more tomatoes to harvest, the honey drop tomatoes and everything, but I'm not going to grab too many of them today. What I'm going to grab is some of these mushroom basket tomatoes. Like, look at this thing. This is the one I let sprawl. This thing's got some good fruit on it. So let's get a few of these. And I love, look at these. I mean, I've talked about these before, but the beauty, the color, the flavor, awesome tomato. I mean, I love the characteristics of everything. You'll notice behind me, I switched this section up. So this was just growing a lot of, tomatoes that were sprawling out that I had allowed to just come up on their own. A few other things too, but I decided to clean this section out and get this birdie's raised bed in. And then I think this is just gonna grow a lot of food for me. I'm gonna follow the same system that I did for the other one, filling it deep, the bottom part with some wooden stuff. So I think it's gonna grow a lot of food for me. If you guys wanna get something like this, just check one of the links down below and use the coupon code TUCK to save just a little bit on your purchase. So let's keep moving though. But before I actually bring you to a different spot, I wanna show you this right here. Remember these? I used to grow these. The toothache plant. This thing came up on its own. This is that plant that you eat and it like pops in your mouth and makes your mouth kind of go numb. And I've eaten them before, but they're not that fun, so I'm not gonna do it again. But it's funny that the toothache plant came up on its own. I wanna bring you to a different section. Remember I talked about how I switched up how I did some of those super tall tomatoes. So when they got super tall, like the Super Sweet 100, I just kind of like did something funny. You'll see right here. So this right here is this tomato plant right here is the Rosa de Bern. Let's grab a few. But the funny thing is that the stem for the Rosa de Bern isn't right here. The stem for the Rosa de Bern for this plant is right here. So this was growing up one stake, the Rosa de Bern. What I did was took it off the stake and brought it over to the other stake. And this whole length, I kind of dropped it down so that the plant wasn't really high. So it's kind of like lowering and leaning, but using a different stake as opposed to the method of just dropping a string down. You'll notice right here too, I added another birdie's bed, and I did this because this is getting a lot more out of the space that I have right here, and I think it's gonna just produce an incredible amount of food, and it's also gonna get a good amount of light. So I'm really happy with how this came out, and I think it's gonna just be excellent. Next to me right here, we've got our latest producing apple. Look at the size of these things. And they were supposed to get a little bit of a redness and a little color. I'm still waiting for that. So we'll just be patient and wait, even though they should be ripe by now. I'll still just take one because they do have good flavor. And look at the size of that. I mean, that's a huge apple. Really good. I mean, I love to see this. And I want to show you the Asian pear right over here. This is the Su Li. This is such a good Asian pear. The flavor on this thing is amazing. Some of them fell to the ground, but we still have one left up here. Let's grab this. Beautiful. Again, an Asian pear, even though it's oblong, but one of the better tasting Asian pears. These are the best. It's on the ground like this. You can see how it's getting that yellow. It is going to be so sweet and so juicy, I know it. Tastes more like a pear, like candy, than a regular pear. Incredibly sweet. Okay, let's grab this one too. And then I want you to step back over there and get a good overview of these strawberries. Look at the color of them. Look at the, overall health of these strawberries. I did things a little different this year than other years, and I think it's just worked incredibly well. So if you guys want me to go over into a video, like the detailed approach of how I got the strawberries looking this good and set up for next year's production, just let me know, because like I talked about, now is the time to prepare for next year, but now is the time to prepare for 5 years from now. So if you have that kind of mindset, where even your annual garden has a perennial mindset, then it's gonna just do so much for you in the future, because you're already thinking about the future. So we gotta make sure we're planning for the future, even these annual gardens, because it'll just open up our mindset and then open up higher levels of production, because we're thinking, you know, not in the day, but we're thinking like, you know, in a bigger picture. Right here is another Birdie's raised bed, the one I got so much production out of, and the one that converted me into like saying, man, I gotta get some more of these. Because this is the third round of plants that we have in here. We've got our lettuces, cabbages, we've got some tatsoi in the back, we've even got some claytonia right here, doing real well. Then right over here, we've got the keyhole raised bed and all the zinnias. I love it, man. I love the flowers, and I talked about it before. You're going to be seeing more flowers in my garden, because at first I thought they like, you know, they didn't add production, but then I realized these things are just, you know, they're incredible. And right here we've got the sweet potato. We're gonna be eating this one a little later. It's almost ripe and ready to go, but you know, it's pretty cool. And then notice along the fence line here, when it came to our beans, we had so many of the Blodhild or whatever, and also of the dragon tongue. So we're just gonna be able to save these beans and then just grow with them next year. Pretty cool. That's today's video, growers. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. This year, me and Tuck had such a blast. Now that we're like a month into fall, and it feels like the best year we've ever had. And we want to thank everyone for that. And not everything has gone perfect. Like, it reminded me of, I was just walking around and I found a little hazelnut. Kind of reminds me of like, not everything goes perfect, but when I look back, I'm thankful for the incredible amount of harvest we've had, and that we're always improving every year. I think that's kind of encouraging. So I want to break this open and see if there's actually a nut in this, because it's kind of like a funny picture, because the squirrels stole all the hazelnuts from me. The thing that is like fortunate is that I have all of you. So you guys made me reassess and think and realize that I don't really have a problem with the squirrels. I just need to get cats. I got that cat deficiency. So I'm looking into possibly getting a cat next year. If you guys have any breeds that you think would be good, just let me know down in the comments. So I just want to crack this open real quick. Oh, it was empty. It was a dud. So I guess that's just a picture of the way the hazelnuts went this year. Not everything works perfect every time, but I guess we just got to be thankful for our wins and then just learn from our losses. But if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button, the subscribe button, share with your friends. Don't forget to check out the merch down low. And I also want to thank Rita Blyden for your new channel membership. Thanks for being a part of Team Grow, for contributing to the channel, and me and Tuck hope that we're creating enough value and giving it back to you that you feel like you're getting, you know, your money's worth. We also want to thank everyone who are giving the super chats. Like, the fact that you're willing to, you know, give back, it just means a lot to me and the big guy. But we're just gonna enjoy the rest of the day. We're gonna focus on not only this year, next year, and the future. So we want you guys to do the same thing. Again, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, share with your friends, and don't forget to hit the Amazon affiliate link whenever you start your shopping. Tuck, the big dog, the beast, the master, right here, look at him, man. We gotta get one more shot of this handsome guy. Love this guy. He was really energetic today. He had a lot of fun. He's soaking up the nice weather just as much as we are. So Big Tuck and his apprentice James will be back at you again real soon. We out.